Yes, yes. What did Saladino tell you about sperm? Saladino fan told me sperm cells need fructose. Yes, they do. I don't think it does, but where did they get this idea from? Yes, it does actually. Sperm. They don't actually need. What they use is they use fructose as a nutrient, but the body can produce it. You don't need to basically eat fructose. That's the delusion that they have. Your body can produce glucose from gluconeogenesis, and in the liver you can produce a small amount of fructose for all the different parts of the body. There's a bit that's required even in the brain, and even in the brain you can produce a certain amount of fructose, very little. So your body can produce what you need, and in the it's like the red blood cells. Red blood cells don't have mitochondria, so they use glucose. Your body can produce it from gluconeogenesis. So it's irrelevant. Since if gluconeogenesis didn't exist, then yes, you could say we need it. Even the USDA, United States Department of Agriculture, they understand physiology. I don't know where Saladino learned his physiology, but in the book of physiology, if you look at it, if anybody's done physiology would know this, if they can remember it, the amount of dietary carbohydrate that is essential, we're talking about essential nutrients, is zero. And it's zero because your body can produce it. The only stuff that is essential, even cholesterol can be produced in the body. Sometimes not enough. That's a different issue altogether, but it still can be produced. Taurine can still be produced. So it's called a non-essential, but it does decline with age. And if you're not getting enough methionine and cysteine, then you can't produce enough in the body. And it also means if you don't get enough choline for the betaine, for the methylation support, then you don't leave enough, in terms of having sufficient to spare the extra amount that you need of cysteine for the purposes of taurine production. So the sparing effect, and also that also spares folate and B12 by using choline, because it's right smack in the middle of the methionine cycle, where the folate cycle is sitting over here. It's basically interacting after homocysteine. So as you go from methionine, SAMe, down to here, homocysteine, back up to here, interacting with the folate cycle, which actually has folate, B12. They should call it the B12 folate cycle. That's what it really is. B6, riboflavin. These are the things, and a few other nutrients that basically support that cycle and can actually convert homocysteine back to methionine. But choline can come directly into producing, through enzyme, produce betaine, and betaine can convert homocysteine directly back to methionine, completely missing the other cycle and reducing the requirement for folate, and usually the majority of times that people have an issue with folate or B12 is due to a choline deficiency. That's what it is. Not eating enough animal foods. When you do that, you spare the others and you don't overtax one system. And then you've got more for taurine as well. And that means you can actually then regulate the whole body much better, because taurine is a master regulator in the body. These are the things that people ignore, like Saladino, because he probably was asleep. Most doctors are when they're doing physiology and basic stuff, because they're never going to become physiologists. They primarily focus on pharmaceuticals and surgical techniques, because that's what they do primarily. And he didn't even focus on, he did pharmacology and then psychology. So yeah, just because some tissue requires something, it doesn't mean you have to eat it. Your body can produce it. If the body couldn't produce it, then it would be an essential nutrient. So, yes. Yeah, I like how these people talk in this reductionist way. Oh, you need it. No, you don't. Body produces it. So what are you talking about? You twat. And if you eat quite a lot of it, it glycates and it's high in deuterium, so it does harm to your mitochondria. So why is that a smart thing to do? You twat. Because they don't understand the rest of the other stuff of physiology. They're in the reductionist little world here, and they do not see this other part. Yes, that's what drives me up the wall with a lot of these people. I slap them down so fast, their head spins.